Thanks, John. So I'm going to go ahead and do some filtering here so we can take a look at his activity. We're going to add inbound and outbound text messages. We're going to just look at this last 30 days. All right, looks like he has a campaign that started just a week ago. So actually, we're going to look at the last week, the last 7 days to blow this up for you. All right, so looking at the last 7 days, we're going to look at now the type of activity. So it looks like our client, Peter, right now has a campaign running to 4,100 unique motivated sellers, 4,100 unique motivated sellers. So I'm going to give you some context here. I recommend that every campaign at least has 5,000 records at a minimum, 5,000 to 10,000 records, because when you're doing direct to seller marketing, you want to make sure, again, you fill the top of your funnel with enough prospects so that when you send them your are you selling prospecting messages, that you have enough sellers at the top that can trickle down through your funnel, contacting you back, going back and forth qualifying leads, to sending offers, to getting offers accepted for contracts, to then getting deals. So if you only start with a small number at the top, relatively speaking, it's hard to get the number of deals you want at the bottom. Thus, I recommend you start with at least 5,000 to 10,000 potentially motivated sellers at the top of your funnel. However, we see here Peter started with 4,100. Okay, so not too off 5,000, but again, I recommend 5,000 as a minimum, and you'll be able to see that our direct to seller marketing campaigns, when you go to dealfinderschallenge.com, those campaigns start at 5,000 records. You can upgrade to actually double the seller list from 5,000 records to 10,000 records. I'm going to throw this link here in the live chat for those who just joining. You can go to dealfinderschallenge.com to get more information and to go there, sign up, and get your own direct to seller marketing campaign going. So you can see here 4,100 records. Now here's the marketing mix. You can see here that Peter actually sent out a text message. So message outbound is a text message. Sent out a text message to basically everyone on the list. So you can see here 4,176 total text messages outbound. So we sent a text message to everyone on the list. And you can see here that outbound messages, he's not done any outbound phone calls yet, because he's only done an outbound phone call to 9 unique sellers. So there hasn't been a lot of outbound phone activity. Why is that important to point out? Because when you do a direct to seller marketing campaign, the more diversity of marketing mix you have in terms of type of communication, call them marketing channels or marketing mix. When you have a diversity of marketing outreach, whether it be text messages on one hand, cold calls or ringless voicemails on another hand, and then you sprinkle in some live voicemail broadcasts. And so you have a diversity of marketing outreach. It maximizes your chance to actually get them to respond, become a contact. And the higher the contact percentage, the better chance you're going to have at getting someone say, I'm interested in selling my property. Okay, so let's now go to another screen. So you can see here there was 4,100 sellers, and there was a text message sent to each one, and only 9 outbound calls to the sellers. Now let's go to the actual, before I leave here, very important. So from these 4,100 contacts so far, and his campaign isn't even over, because you can see here, he's only 5 days into a 7-day campaign. He already has 6 sellers with leads and 7 total leads. So one of the sellers has 2 properties for sale, looks like, but 6 sellers, he already has 6 leads. Anytime you run a campaign to 5,000 to 10,000 sellers, if you have 5 to 20 qualified leads, you're doing really good. So he already is in that 5 to 20 qualified leads, and his campaign hasn't even finished yet. Of course, when he finishes a 7-day campaign, has additional follow-up, he'll get more qualified leads because he'll have more time to do follow-up and outreach to the sellers that have responded to him. So now let's take a look at the status of his leads, or the status of his activities. So from the activities here, it looks like he's had a very good percentage of his text messages delivered. Very small percentage of them undelivered, under 25%, and not a high number of answered calls because he's only made, 9 or so calls. So now let's take a look at the reporting tags, which is going to show the disposition of his contacts. So he has 71% of his contacts that have responded. So remember, it was 4,100 contacts he started with. He's had 530 unique sellers. So you can see that's higher than a 10% contact rate. So 4,100 sellers he started with, 530 have already contacted. So he's already, north of double-digit contact rate, which is, if you think about it, when people send out direct mail, they say, oh, direct mail, you only get a 1 or 2% people calling you back. That's called a 1 or 2% contact rate. We see with our Deal Finders funnel that our clients get double-digit contact rates, meaning if you have 5,000 sellers at the top of your funnel, expect at least 500 of them to contact you back. In this case, Peter started with 4,100, already has 530 contacting him back. We've seen funnel clients get 20, 25% contact rates. But the key thing I want to point out here is that of the 530 sellers that already responded, he's gotten 6, 7 leads already, but you can see here that a good percent of them have been qualified as dead already. So there's still 25, 28 or so percent that still need follow-up or not yet interested. But this is one of the reasons why you want to have 5 to 10,000 records in the top of your funnel, so you have more sellers to prospect to. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to his actual lead activity.